1. Semyon Yudkovich Mogilevich, born in Ukraine. Mogilevich, found by European and United States federal law enforcement agencies as the boss of most Russian mafia syndicates in the world. Mogilevich's nickname includes Don Brainy because of business acumen, and he has been called the most mafia dangerous in the world. Mogilevich finger in Moscow in 2008 due to tax evasion, but was released from his later origins. Russia's Interior Ministry claimed that the charges against him were not very heavy. He's on the 10 FBI list. Money entered. Estimated more than $1 billion. Punishment, none. Two. Meyer Lansky. Meyer Lansky is recognized as the father of the modern form of money laundering. In 1930, he was the first to use the Caribbean to hide the results of crimes that had been washed through the casino in Las Vegas before moving to Cuba, where he oversaw the gambling concessions. Later in life, Lansky will hold countless millions in Swiss bank accounts in companies in Hong Kong, Israel, and all of South America. How do you think? News from my deuce. He is an expert on the flexible utilization of government officials, never punished for allegations against him. Amount washable, approximately $1 billion. Punishment, none. Three. Al Capone. Alphonse Al Capone, or Scarface, is perhaps the most famous of all gangsters. He created a criminal organization in America in the 1920s, during the era of the Mirrors ban, grossing about $100 million of illegally obtained proceeds annually, which was laundered through a series of businesses. He was arrested. The subsequent detention in Alcatraz in the 1930s was not the result of money laundering or criminal activities such as bootlegging, prostitution, and gambling, but was found guilty of tax evasion. Amount washed, estimated $1 billion. Punishment, 7 years in prison for tax evasion. 4. Sani Abacha. Sani Abacha was a military leader who became president of Nigeria in 1993. During the 5-year regime, he and his family managed to siphon out of the state treasury totaling £3 billion. Abacha is listed by Transparency International as the fourth most corrupt leader in the world in history. He died suddenly in 1998 at the age of 54 years and was buried immediately without any autopsy. Rumor that he had been poisoned. Amount washable, estimated $3 billion. Punishment, none. 5. Mobutu Sese Seko. Mobutu was president of the Democratic Republic of Congo from 1965 to 1997. He is number 3 on Transparency International's most corrupt list, leader embezzling around $5 billion, most not returning. Mobutu is known to regularly hire Concorde from Air France for personal use, including shopping trips to Paris for himself and his family. How do you think? News from my deuce. He died in exile in Morocco in 1997. Amount washed, estimated $5 billion. Punishment, none. 6. King Leopold II of Belgium. In 1885, on condition that the population be brought into the modern world and that all countries are allowed to trade freely with it, Leopold was effectively appointed Patriarch and Generous Congo Free State by the world's most powerful nations, IDUS. However, he immediately sealed all borders, took personal control of all businesses, and transformed the country into a slave labor camp run by his brutal thugs. He secretly channeled huge profits from the Congo. For 8 years in 1890, Congo was the world's largest supplier of rubber, through several wholly owned trading companies on its behalf by a private holding company. Most of the ill-gotten gains are used to finance the construction of large public buildings in Belgium, which are considered to be a sincerity for the mainstream of the Belgian people. In 1907, when King Leopold was forced to release control to the Belgian government, the population of the Congo had been reduced by 50% from an estimated 20 million to 10 million. Amount washed. Annual earnings of the Democratic Republic of Congo for 22 years. Punishment. The Belgian government buys Leopold rights in gratitude to Congo for about US $5 million. 7. Dawood Ibrahim. Dawood Ibrahim is accused of being a 5,000-member criminal syndicate post that operates primarily in Pakistan, India and the United Arab Emirates. It is said that he has managed to launder billions of dollars through the Hawala network. He is also alleged to have been the organizer and financer of the 1993 Mumbai bombing and a large amount of money laundering on behalf of Osama bin Laden. In 2003, the United States declared Dawood Ibrahim a global terrorist, of his wealth estimated at about US $5 billion. Amount laundered, US $3, US $5 billion. Amount washed, US $3, US $5 billion. Punishment. It remains free and its existence is unknown even though it currently resides in Pakistan. 8. Ferdinand Marcos. Marcos was a lawyer who ruled as president of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986 before being overthrown by popular uprising. He is number 2 on Transparency International's most corrupt leader money laundered list, having billions of dollars embezzling public funds through the United States, Switzerland and other countries, for 20 years of his rule. His wife, Imelda, is known to have left more than 2,500 pairs of shoes in the closet when he and Marcos fled from Manila. Amount washed. 5 billion United States dollars (SD). 10 billion United States dollars. Punishment. Marcos died of a heart attack in 1989 while in exile in Honolulu, Hawaii, awaiting trial. 9. Pablo Escobar. He is considered the richest and most successful criminal in world history. In 1989, Forbes magazine declared Escobar the 7th richest man in the world, with an estimated personal fortune of US $9 billion. He and his brother's operations were so successful that at their peak they spent US $1,000 per week just to buy rubber bands to wrap around a pile of money. Also, because they have more illegal money than they can deposit in the bank, how do you think news from my deuce? They keep their cash holdings in their warehouse, annually. As many as 10% rotten when rats crawl at night and chew on their $100 bills. Amount washed, US $5, US $10 billion. Punishment. Living in a very lavish prison for several months in 1992. He fled after hearing he would be transferred to another prison, and was soon killed. 10. President Suharto. Suharto was the president of Indonesia from 1967 to 1998. As soon as his resignation was forced, Time magazine published an article about tracing his wealth of about US $15 billion distributed to his family in 11 countries. The magazine also documents over $73 billion in revenues and assets that have passed the hands of the Suharto family while serving as president of Indonesia. He is number 1 on Transparency International's list as the most corrupt leader in the world. Amount washed, US $15, US $35 billion. Punishment. Suharto is considered too old to be brought to justice and died in 2008. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to subscribe this channel.